The voice was soft at first, barely a whisper, coming from the dark basement of a house I had just moved into. "Can you hear me?" it asked. At first, I thought it was the wind or maybe the house settling. But no, it was unmistakable. A girl's voice, clear and desperate, echoing from somewhere below. Every inch of my body screamed not to listen, not to investigate. Yet there was something magnetic about it, something I could not ignore. As the days passed, the voice grew louder, more insistent, until it felt like it was following me, calling me, pulling me toward the basement. I did not want to go. I did not want to engage. But the whispers kept coming, the warning growing fainter each time. They were right. There was something in the basement, something that should not be disturbed. I should have listened. But I didn't. It had been a month since I moved into the old house on the outskirts of town. My name is Jonah, and like most people, I thought I was just looking for a fresh start. A quiet place to work and escape from the stress of city life. The house was cheap, old, and had its quirks, creaky floors, windows that wouldn't shut properly, and a basement that smelled of damp earth. But it was mine. No neighbors to bother me, no loud traffic. Just peace and quiet. At first, I didn't think much of the basement. It was a space filled with boxes of forgotten items and an old furnace that sputtered occasionally. I had no reason to go down there, and I never did. But over the weeks, I began to hear things. The house was a character in itself, breathing, groaning, shifting in the night. But this was different. Something was wrong. I just couldn't put my finger on it. It started on a Tuesday night. I had just finished my late dinner and was sitting on the couch, flipping through some old records. The house was quiet, the only sound the hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. Then I heard it. "Jonah." I froze. It was faint, almost too soft to be real, but it was unmistakable. A girl's voice, coming from the basement. I stood up slowly, my heart beating a little faster than usual. I hesitated. The sound of the voice had been so clear, but there was no logical explanation for it. The wind? A neighbor's TV? But no, this was different. It was too specific, too direct. I moved toward the door of the basement and stopped just before opening it. My hand rested on the cold doorknob, and I felt an odd chill race up my spine. I didn't want to go down there. I didn't want to investigate. But why not? I had to know what it was. "Please, help me." It was her voice again. Desperate. My hand tightened on the knob. Every instinct screamed for me to turn around, to leave, to ignore it. But I was already stepping into the dark. Emma was a neighbor I had met a few days earlier. She seemed friendly, but there was something about her eyes, a depth, a knowing that made me uneasy. "You've been here a while now, Jonah," she had said one afternoon, standing in the doorway with a mug of tea in hand. "Have you ever gone down to the basement?" "No," I had replied, trying to smile. "I've been keeping to the upper floors." Emma's smile faltered. She glanced toward the basement door, then back at me. "I wouldn't go down there if I were you," she said quietly. "Not for any reason." "Why?" I asked, feeling my curiosity peak. Emma looked like she wanted to say more, but she didn't. Her eyes darkened, and for a moment, she seemed lost in thought. "You won't believe me, but if you hear anything, don't answer it," she finally whispered, her voice low. "Whatever you do, don't go down to the basement." I laughed it off, chalking it up to local superstition. It was an old house, after all. People said all sorts of things about old houses. But that night, as I lay in bed, the voice returned. "Please." The next few nights were the same. The voice called to me, louder and clearer with each passing day. I could hear it even when I was upstairs. Sometimes, it sounded like it was right behind me. Sometimes, it was faint, barely audible, like it was at the far end of the house. But it was always there. "Jonah, come closer." I knew I shouldn't go. I knew what Emma had warned me about. But every night, the voice grew more insistent, more persuasive. Something inside me twisted, telling me I couldn't leave it unanswered. I had to find out who it was, what they wanted. One night, I decided I would go down. I had to know. I grabbed a flashlight, though I didn't feel much better with it in my hand. The basement was cold, and the air down there felt thick, heavy. Every step toward the basement door felt like a weight pressing against my chest. I reached for the knob. The wood was worn smooth and it creaked as it turned. And then I heard it. Louder now. Jonah, please. I opened the door. The stairs creaked beneath my feet as I descended into the basement. The flashlight flickered with each step, casting long shadows across the dusty floor. The air was damp, and the walls seemed to close in on me. My heart pounded louder with each step, and the voice, it was everywhere now. I'm waiting, come closer. The basement was pitch black except for the beam of light from my flashlight. As I moved further down, I saw something. A figure standing in the corner, half hidden in the shadows. It was a girl. She was about my age, with dark hair and a pale, sickly complexion. She wore a torn dress, her feet bare on the cold concrete floor. Her eyes were wide, but empty, nothing behind them but darkness. I've been waiting for you, she whispered. You're the one who can help me. I stepped back, my breath catching in my throat. This was not right. This was not just a girl in need. There was something wrong with her. Something unnatural. You need to leave, I whispered, my voice trembling. But the girl didn't listen. Instead, she stepped forward, her eyes locking onto mine. I don't want to be alone anymore. Come closer, Jonah. Please. Suddenly, the basement seemed to shift. The walls, once solid, began to ripple and twist. A low, guttural sound echoed around the room, coming from beneath the floor. The girl's smile widened, her teeth sharp and jagged. Her skin began to crack, as if something was trying to break free from beneath. No, I whispered, stepping back, my feet slipping on the concrete. No, you're not real. The voice shifted, warping into something darker, more sinister. The girl was no longer a girl. She was something else, something ancient, something bound to this place. You're here now, the voice hissed, and now you will stay. In that moment, I understood. She was not human. She was a manifestation of the house's curse, a spirit or entity that fed on the lost and the lonely. And now I was one of them. I turned, panic flooding my chest, and bolted up the stairs. My heart was in my throat as I raced toward the door, my body slamming into the doorframe. The girl, or whatever it had become, lunged after me, its inhuman form snapping at my heels. I shoved the door open, throwing myself into the hallway. The basement door slammed shut behind me, but I could still hear it, her voice echoing in my ears. Jonah, you can never leave. The next day, I packed my things. I didn't care where I went, but I couldn't stay there any longer. The house was cursed, and I had been foolish enough to let it draw me in. As I walked out the front door, I heard it again. Jonah? I turned, but there was no one there. I never went back. I moved far away, started a new life, and tried to forget. But sometimes, when the wind is still, when the air is thick with silence, I hear it again. That voice. And now I know. Some doors should never be opened.